Welcome to the step-by-step guide to public service loan forgiveness. This is the very last lesson, and we are going to be walking you through your other student loan options. What other options do you have to manage your student loans and pay them off quickly and efficiently besides public service loan forgiveness? Because to me, it's really more important to be talking about actual planning and management and strategies to become debt-free versus just your income-based repayment plans. So we are going to be diving deep into the actual solutions to solve your student loan crisis. So you really have just three options. Forget about the income-based repayment plans and think about how you are actually going to become debt-free and manage your student loans. And really your only options are this: public service loan forgiveness, paying off your debt as soon as possible, and then to seek forgiveness through an income-based repayment plan in 20 or 25 years, such as pay as you earn or repay. When it comes down to the choices, unfortunately, these are your only three options. So let's walk through each of these options in detail. So, how do you get forgiveness using income based repayment plans such as pay as you earn or repay? Well, under these various repayment plans, you will get forgiveness. Pay as you earn will be after 20 years, repay will be after 25 years. But here's the difference between these programs versus public service loan forgiveness is that you will still have to pay the taxes on whatever is forgiven. So here's an example. Say you have student loans of $100,000 and 7% interest rate. Over 20 or 25 years, you're going to end up paying $184,000 or $223,000 in these various plans. Now, looking at the tax implications, though, is extremely important as well. So it's not just how much you're paying over the life of the loans that we saw there, but you also have potential taxes at the end when you're finally forgiven. So when you have 20 years or 25 years and you get this forgiveness from pay as you earn or repay, you still have to pay the taxes. So what we did is we estimated that maybe your $100,000 loan, if you're paying the minimum payment, has grown to maybe $150,000 after 20 years. And really, this is an estimation because taxes can vary and growth can vary on how much you're earning, how much you're paying, your family size, if you're married, so many things. So this is purely an estimate. And let's say that you earned $70,000 that year. So you're going to combine your taxable income, so the $150,000, which is going to be forgiven, and the $70,000 salary. That's going to give you a total taxable income of $220,000. And when I plugged that in to taxformcalculator.com, it came up that California state plus federal, you would owe $67,000 in taxes. Now, let's say you didn't have this student loan forgiveness and you just had your regular income of $70,000. What would your taxes be? Well, it'd be about $12,000. Now, once again, this is variable because it depends on your retirement contributions, your family size, your marriage status, all sorts of things. So this is just an example. But comparing the total tax of $12,000 to the $67,000 that you paid when you had to include the forgiveness on your student loans, you end up paying $55,000 more in taxes because of that student loan forgiveness. So not only are you paying the $220,000, but then you're adding another $67,000 on top of that. So here's it all in one number for you to really understand the true implications. It's not just your loan payments, but it's also your taxes. So when you combine the taxes plus the loan payment under pay as you earn, you're actually paying over the life of your loan $251,000. Now, what about repay? It comes out to about $290,000. Plus, you have this burden for 20 or 25 years. Think how much excess money has been spent on interest. So really it comes down to that this is not a reasonable option. It ends up costing you $150,000+ more than your original loan amount if you're choosing to simply pay the minimum and then get forgiveness on pay as you earn or repay. Now, taxes can vary, and once again, marriage can completely change these estimates as well. So you have to take all that into consideration. So this option is really not a viable option. So now we can really narrow down your two options to either paying off your debt as fast as possible or continuing to seek public service loan forgiveness. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to now walk you through the pay off your debt as soon as possible, the pros and cons, how to choose, and compare all the numbers there for you. So, what are some of the pros to this strategy versus public service loan forgiveness? Well, it's more controlled. You're actually, what you're doing, what you need to do to get it done versus public service loan forgiveness, which is more in the hands of the politicians and in Congress. Loans can be completed in just several years versus having to wait 10 years or 20 or 25 years under the other plans. And so, really, thousands of dollars in interest and excess payments can be saved if you're choosing to simply pay off your debt versus paying the minimum for all these years. You also have the peace of mind to just get it done in several years. Flexibility of career track and earnings as well are some huge pros to this loan strategy. Now, what are the cons? Well, you really have to have a lot of focus and a lot of discipline. It's tough seeing that money go to your loans, especially when you're working so hard and you thought you made a really smart career choice. It also requires that you work some extra shifts, or maybe you have some more non-traditional career paths, such as in healthcare, contract work, or traveling. You have to be savvy, and you may have to reduce your style of living for several years to become debt-free. But really, if you focus, you'll be saving so much more money in the end with this plan than a lot of other student loan repayment plans. So here's some more questions to ask yourself to help you understand if this is the right option for you. Ask yourself, can you stand having your loans for 10 plus years? Can you stand having to hope for forgiveness and that there aren't any legal changes that may happen? Do you want to even work in the public sector? Can you work for 10 years in that sector? And can you even find work in the public sector for public service loan forgiveness? Are you able to focus and work hard for 2 to 3 years? And then also really do a deep dive for you personally, because all these numbers I'm giving you are just estimates as to which debt-free strategy is cheaper and which track will earn you more and be more successful for you. So what other tools can you use? Well, I really suggest that you try to use the repayment estimator, and that's in the lesson that I've just showed you. And that tool will really help you compare the different costs: repay, pay as you earn, public service loan forgiveness. It will help you compare your earnings in various sectors as well. You want to look at, in public service, how much is that going to earn me versus if I'm a traveler, if I'm a contract worker in other career tracks, and compare that, because it's not just about the loan. You also have to look about earnings in the end. Really choose a career track that makes you the most happy, though, because you have to survive for many, many years in this career track. And so these are the different things you want to look at. Now, here's a comparison of all the different numbers for you. So I already walked through these, the pay as you earn and the repay totals. The fact that based on $100,000 in student loans at 7% and $70,000 adjusted gross income, that you would end up paying over the life of your loan around $251,000 for pay as you earn, or if you're using repay, about $290,000. And remember, you have to carry that burden for 20 to 25 years. So this is really not a recommended option. And once again, we got all these totals from here, studentloans.gov repayment estimator. So that's not an option. So we can really cross that off. Now, what about public service loan forgiveness? Based on all the same numbers, you're ending up paying about $67,000, which is great. That's not bad. But you have to carry the burden for 10 years. You have to find public work for 10 years, or I should say 120 payments. And oftentimes it's hard to get public service jobs immediately. So you may have to work several years and then transition to that. So all those things you have to take into consideration. In addition, you may have less annual salary. So there's a pro and con. You pay less to your loans, but then you're earning less. So which method is better for you? Now here's debt-free. I'm doing some numbers here, and I've changed the interest rate to 2% because if you refinance, you can if you're trying to change your loans to private and pay off your loans as fast as possible, I recommend that you refinance, and that will save you thousands of dollars in interest and make it a lot easier to become debt free. So based on a new interest rate of 2%, all being said, after 2 years, if you're really focused and trying hard to become debt free, you'd only pay $106,000 to your student loans. In addition, you can work anywhere in any position. Could be clinical, could be non-clinical. There's no paperwork. You have the peace of mind, and you have the increased salary potential. I mean, here's an example. Let's say you made $70,000 in the public sector and $80,000 in the private sector. After 10 years, yes, that 10,000 is not much, but times it by a decade, you've now earned $100,000 more dollars in the private sector. And so, yes, you paid a little bit more to your loans if you chose to become debt free, but you had all these other things going for you in addition to earning more. So let's do a little bit more deep dive in these numbers and compare. So we're taking the public service loan forgiveness number of $67,000, minusing it by that $106,000 that we owed if we tried to pay off our loans. And so, yes, you do end up paying around $38,000 more to get debt free. But let's look at the increased salary potential. Let's take only 10 grand difference here, which is $100,000 after just 10 years, and subtract that by the extra cost that you had to pay for student loans. You still come out on top if you're trying to become debt free versus seeking public service loan forgiveness. Now, once again, this is estimated salary, it's estimated taxes, it's estimated earning potential, but it's so important to compare not just your loan amount, but also your salary potential and career track. So if you are potentially now thinking about becoming debt-free ASAP, I have created a free step-by-step guide for healthcare professionals. This teaches you how to earn 6 figures income, how to earn passive income, how to optimize your loan. So even though you're becoming debt-free, you're paying the least amount and the most optimal amount for your loan to become debt-free as fast as possible. And in really just several years, can be found at debtfreept.com/loans. So here's a summary. Really, there's no easy choice. I've tried to make this course be objective and give you as much numbers and data as possible for you to be understandable of your needs and your unique situation. If you have any questions, feel free to go to debtfreept.com, see if there's more posts and articles there, and email me at emma@debtfreept.com. Don't forget that I have a free course that you can get if you refinance your student loans, all on exactly how to become debt-free, and that's at debtfreept.com/loans. And below are the references that I've used. So if you want to look for the repayment estimator, that's right here. And then this has all the information that I paraphrased and used as references to help me give you the most accurate information on public service loan forgiveness. I hope you have learned a lot in this course, and feel free to reach out anytime at emma@debtfreept.com. Thank you so much.